time, Rosado ended the last round with a really good straight right hand, and Golovkin has a mouse under his eye and a little blood, I think, coming out of his nose.
Step. Good.
I like the effort Rosado's showing. I mean, you got to believe in yourself. If he believes the height of Golovkin, he might as well stay home and not even show up tonight.
He got Golovkin nodding his approval of a good right hand Rosado just threw, acknowledging it.
They did try to do the old shake it off, like, nah, that didn't hurt me. He said, yep, you got it. Yep.
See how Golovkin does now against an opponent that he's not able to rock with one punch, or not able to floor, rather, with one punch.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, Andre and Max. When you think about this fight, Golovkin has hit Rosado with some pretty good shots, and normally his opponents are gone at this point. But there's Rosado right there.
Rosado's got his fans cheering right now, snapping Golovkin's head back and having Golovkin in retreat momentarily.
Rosado, fellas, nobody's invincible.
Rosado just shook off the good hard shot landed by Golovkin.
There's a pretty good super middleweight right now, though, that looks pretty tough to beat.
I agree with you.
Good left hook to the body by Golovkin. Rosado sticks right in there, swelling around the right eye of Golovkin. Rosado a bloody mess, but hanging in there.
And as bloody as he is, there may be some middleweights around the world right now going, all right, you know what? This Golovkin, I want to take my chances with this guy. Rosado's a junior middleweight moving up. He has 5 losses. And this fight ain't over.
I think Rosado should stay on his jab. He needs to pick that jab up a little bit more. That's how you give Golovkin something to think about.
Final seconds of round number 5. Good stiff jab there from Golovkin to end the round. With the power as well as we check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 3-0, 30-27, Gennady Golovkin. I got to tell you something, Bob. Gabe Rosado, every time I've seen him, he was a guy that comes forward, that bangs, just like Gennady Golovkin's doing now. So Golovkin, in essence, is really taking Rosado out of his game. Gabe has come forward very, very, very few times. I mean, once or twice he did come forward. Once or twice he landed a few nice shots. But basically, it's that Golovkin right hand, that left jab, murderous power shots. 3-0 Golovkin.
And if it looks, Andre and I have both made the comment, he's not fighting scared Rosado, but if you notice he's moving a lot and not throwing a lot of punches. Golovkin is a master at distance, balance. He knows how to keep his opponent's hands at home, not just because he's a hard puncher, but because he puts himself in proper position oftentimes, Andre.
And that starts with the feet. A lot of times when you see a puncher like Golovkin, everybody focuses on the upper body, but I watch the feet. He's always in position. Even when he backs up, he's always in position to let one shot go, and that's what you're alluding to.
And the opponent has to honor that because of his power.
Because he's in position.
Rosado bleeding along the left eye, blood from his nose, mouth is swollen. And you can see Golovkin has done tremendous work with his jab. The white glove of Golovkin, that left hand, is now a tint of red.
I mentioned Mike Tyson in terms of the way guys react to Golovkin's punches. I believe it was Roy Jones who said he fights kind of like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who was also able to exert tremendous pressure on his opponent even when he wasn't throwing punches.
He might hit a tad bit harder than Senior, and I think defensively he's a lot better. Golovkin's not a one-trick pony, and that's what I think people are kind of missing here. Is they talk so much about the power, but he's got subtle defense. He's doing some things in there that is allowing him not to take too much punishment.
And Andre, the other thing is when he is on defense, it always seems like his footwork gets him back in position to be offensive.
That's the key.
I would say the one defensive critique I have of Golovkin is his head seems to stay in the middle a bit.
You got to respect Rosado. He's biting down. He's trying to get some respect.
Bloody face of Rosado.
And when you don't move your head, it gets hit.
And that opened up the cut. Referee Steve Smoger confirmed with me in between rounds that cut on the left eye of Rosado was from a punch. So the long and short of that is if that cut worsens at any point in the fight and Rosado cannot continue, it's a TKO win for Golovkin. No scorecards necessary because it's not an accidental punch. It's not an accidental clash of heads. It's from a punch.
Good right hand from Rosado, taking advantage of the fact that Golovkin's head stays in the middle.
He's definitely touching Golovkin because Golovkin's got some red spots on his face too. Even looks like the left eye.
Yeah, a mouse under the left eye of Golovkin.
So right hand from Golovkin.
Rosado took that shot pretty well. He made a comment to us in a fighter meeting that staying relaxed is the key to taking a big shot, and he's showing that right now.
Rosado is, yeah.
Rosado.
He's limber enough to take some of those big shots. You mentioned Golovkin's power jab. Basically, any jab thrown by him is a power jab. He throws everything hard.
But you got to respect Rosado. He's a smaller man. He's giving up a lot of energy, but he's not afraid of Golovkin. And I didn't get that sense in the fighter meeting either.
No, and he felt that he could physically maybe do some more things as far as movement, stylistically. Whereas he said Golovkin is very good. There's a right hand from Golovkin, steps in with a left, digs in with a power jab again, and rocks back Rosado. Rosado on his heels here in round 3.
Got Rosado buzzed a little bit. Rosado's got to stay focused, man. He's got to continue to do what he's been doing and not get into the machismo, because that's when he can possibly be looking at the lights.
And Golovkin doesn't get frantic. He sort of stays in his game.
I don't mean stylistically or in terms of the mental makeup or anything like that, but just in terms of the reaction guys have to Golovkin's punches. He's like a middleweight Mike Tyson. Tyson's name gets connected to a lot of punchers, but he touches guys and they wobble.
There's a counter right hand from Golovkin. Well, Golovkin has landed some very good power shots here in round number 3.
He landed a big shot. He makes no secret about it that that's what he's here to do, is get a knockout. But Rosado's got two things going on. Number one, he's got to win rounds, but he's also got to get some respect. So that means at some point he's going to have to open up.
It was an understandably tentative round from Rosado in the first. Based on Golovkin's experience in his previous fight. See if Rosado starts to take Golovkin's measure a little bit here in the second and engage a little bit more.
That jab got his attention.
Golovkin, very patient when he's in the ring. Goes that right hand to the ear. Defense by Rosado to dip away from any danger.
Rosado looks like he has a little cut over his left eye.
Good right hand from Golovkin. Puts Rosado on the retreat.
Golovkin, even when it seems like he's not landing anything, he hits you hard enough with those short punches to open up a cut.
Good counter right from Rosado.
Good jab from Golovkin, and then a right hand. And there's blood on the left eye of Rosado. Considering that there's been no clinches for referee Steve Smoger to separate the two, I'm going to assume that came from a punch.
I think it did.
Good stiff jab again from Golovkin. He backs up Rosado.
You see a little Hopkins in Rosado.
Yep. He's in with a scary guy, but I wouldn't say he's fighting tentatively, but he is throwing some punches back, trying to time Golovkin. The issue is when you have 11 amateur fights and your opponent had 350 in exchanges, his punches will tend to get there first.
Yeah, and you can see the difference between just how fluid these guys are. And that speaks to the late start of Rosado and the over 350 amateur fights of Golovkin.
And Golovkin, he doesn't get frustrated. He'll just continue to walk you down, land his jab, and eventually unleash his power shots.
Yeah, so far for Rosado, those jabs notwithstanding, his legs have done the fighting so far.
Golovkin stepped in.
Golovkin looks a little bit more muscular, but actually Rosado is holding his own in terms of size.
Rosado has been mentored by fellow Philadelphia fighter Bernard Hopkins. Been to 5 camps with Hopkins. He said of his 5 losses, they've told me how to win, helped season me because of his lack of an amateur background.
Nice defensive move there from Rosado. Golovkin also pretty good at cutting off the ring. He makes his opponent, who he always seems to be chasing, move more than he does. As he's trying to get inside, they're trying to move away.
Good short right hand inside by Golovkin. Thumping right hand from Golovkin. Rosado blocks some of it.
Making Rosado work real hard in this first round, giving up a lot of energy. Every punch Golovkin throws has bad intentions on it. Even a jab.
It's been a defensive first round to this point for Rosado.
He's done better than Proxa did at this point in the fight. And Proxa's a good fighter.
End of round number 1. Well, our first bout of the evening had Rocky Martinez keeping his 130